Hey, everybody, welcome back. Today, I am so thrilled to welcome DeDee Cai to the show. DeDee is the founder of Fit to Profit, where she helps entrepreneurs skyrocket their results and achieve their dreams by mastering mindset, money, marketing, and monetization. DeDee is here today to share some strategies on building a six-figure mindset. DeDee, I am so excited to welcome you to the show today. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, absolutely. Likewise, I am so excited to be here. And thank you so much for hosting. Thank you so much for having this platform so we can have this type of meaningful conversation. So thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. You're so welcome. So, DeDee, you are a powerhouse in the world of business coaching and personal development. And for those of my listeners who might not be familiar with you or your journey, can you share a little bit about that and what led you to become the founder of Fit to Profit?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for the question. And I would say I can give you the shortest version to it, right? Since we have limited time together this morning, so it has been honestly a personal journey. I never could have guessed in a million years that I would ever be a coach. I knew when I was a little girl that I wanted to help people, but more from a side of like, oh, I want to go to school to become a doctor and, wanted to be a therapist type of conventional way of helping people. But honestly, just through my own experience of overcoming my own personal challenges, early trauma when I was 15, all the way up through when I was in my late 20s, was like mid 20, I would say, where I lost my best friend to suicide the week of my wedding, and realized I was actually suffering from the same, but in silence. And honestly, that's how I embarked on a journey of healing myself from the inside out, taking care of myself physically, mentally, emotionally, and also last but not least, spiritually. And now everything came full circle is that I have the responsibility and to help other people overcome what I had to go through. And losing my best friend is just because she couldn't see her own value in herself. And hence, because I didn't see my own value neither. And then, of course, I was burnt out and depressed and anxious and all of the things, which I really honestly developed, right? Like from all the trauma from the past. And until I actually started healing myself was when I realized, wow, we all have our own stories. And that's when I really started Fit to Profit with that intention, is to help people get mentally fit initially. And then what was really interesting is I just follow the breadcrumbs, right? Like one step at a time. And when I got certified to be a holistic health coach, when I started coaching and wanting to coach people on optimizing their health, um, I didn't get any interest because my prior experience to uh, the burnout was running my mom's salons, and also we also partner up to run a restaurant together. So I have majority of my experience were building brick and mortar businesses. And so when I launched my business, no one was interested in purchasing holistic health, but they were interested in getting my help to start their businesses. And so that's how I really fell into business development and business coaching. What's interesting is 3 years in, what I realized is as much as I was giving my clients a strategy and a tactic, and this is what you need to do, this is a plan. There were always the ups and downs. There were the inconsistency when it comes to revenue, and just results in general. And came to realize after having deeper conversations with my clients is because they were not taking care of themselves on all levels, right? They thought that they have to do is focus on the strategy, just do the things, but they were not focused. They were not clear-minded. They were not energetic, even enough to even go out there and implement the plan. So it has to be holistic, and especially with women entrepreneurs. We have to be able to charge our worth, and that has everything to do with how we feel about ourselves. So honestly, that's how Fit to Profit was born, was through my own personal journey of healing myself from the inside out and really learning, it all the hard way. So that way I've made all the mistakes so you don't have to do the things that I do today, and really helping women build wealth from the inside out. Really understanding their true value in the world, and being able to help their clients get results.
That is such an interesting journey, and I am so sorry about the loss of your friend. I can't imagine what that had to feel like, losing your best friend like that. And I'm sure she's very proud of how you took that grief and turned it into something helping other women entrepreneurs and women in general. You don't, I mean, I know that you speak to mainly entrepreneurs, but I really feel your message speaks to all women, and we can all benefit from your message and the things that you share. How did you how did you put the connection together with the fit, the mentally fit, the holistic fit, to how it would benefit
Yeah.
entrepreneurs? I know you said you made that connection, but how did that connection happen?
I just realized, from my background of psychology, I have a cognitive psychology and counseling background, and I recall as I was going through all the challenges and how I managed to always come through the other side, and then just learning like the survival of the fittest, right? And like where we were like the strongest, the most resilient will always survive. So that's it clicked with me when I realized, oh my
Mhm.
goodness, I was able to overcome all of the things because I was actually resilient and mentally fit. And
Yeah.
then I realized, wait, we have to be that like in our lives to start with, not to mention to be in business. So that's why honestly, Fit to Profit came very early on as soon as I launched the business because of that. And I realized we have to be fit on all levels to be benefiting from, and or to be yielding the profit that we want, whether it
Mhm.
is fulfillment in life and or monetarily in business. And so yeah, I think it was just really that connection of, wow, yes, we really do need to take care of ourselves. And as like I said, I completely burnt out up until the point where I was ready to end it all. It's because I was not taking care of myself. I was not fit on the other levels. I just thought that hard work was the answer to everything, and it wasn't, unfortunately.
Yeah. That makes so much sense. And so many times we hear, I read a lot of books. So, you read books and you follow different people, and they'll say, oh, you get up early and you work out and you meditate. And like there's all these things to do. But nobody, to my knowledge, has really explained it the way that you just explained it and how that's all connected. Like they said the what, but not the why. So, so thank you for sharing that, because I think that's so important, and it does make so much sense that it's that survival of the fittest, right? I get that. My degree's in psychology too. So I'm like, yes, this all fits together so perfectly. And I've been somebody who follows that thought of just work hard, just keep working hard, keep working hard. I mean, I love what I do and I love working. And sometimes I can just keep working and working and working and let everything go to the side because I enjoy what I do.
Mhm.
But it's far from healthy to do
Yes.
that.
Yes, it's just not sustainable. And when we're deciding to be more conscious and really being intentional with our efforts, right? And how we're
Mhm.
showing up. And you'll see there's a big difference, right? Like when you are well rested, you're definitely more energetic and more clear,
Yeah.
minded. And then yeah, you just that's much more vibrant versus when you're not. And the same thing too, like when you are supported emotionally, when you are in great relationships, whether it is with your significant other or your friends or your family, you feel that much more alive and passionate, about life. So I just find that our culture glorifies working hard. At the same time, we're not really having the real conversation of like, okay, how long can you be doing that for? How
Right.
sustainable is that? And and are you happy with the result that you're getting right now in your life, not to even mention business, in your
Right.
life right now? And if the answer is no, well, we need to get back to the basics. We need to get back to the foundation of how are we really taking care of ourselves right now?
Yeah. Gosh, that makes so much sense. So much sense. So, DeDee, you have a sales mastery blueprint framework, right? And this promises that entrepreneurs will skyrocket the results and achieve their dreams. Can you explain a little bit what this sales mastery blueprint is?
Yeah, so it's not a typical, like I alluded to, not all tactic and strategy like you would imagine, like a sales car, like a car salesman, right? Like this is what you do when there's an objection and things like that.
Yeah.
But it really ultimately building your self confidence from the inside out. And first and foremost, number
Mm.
one thing is we go through the 5 pillars of our success principles. Like, what are those 5 pillars, right? And then they are basically for us, the first and foremost is responsibility. Second is commitment, then discipline, and then we continue to take action. And last but not least is service. So those are our 5 success principles. We coach around that. There's nothing that we coach isn't related to one of the 5 success pillars. So that's the first thing we handle is the mindset side of things. And the second is really getting to know you as the CEO. Like you said, why do you want to do what you do? Do you understand the extent of value of your services? Because what I come across, so many clients of mine, they only understand the practical side. Okay, this is how much I charge, and this is how much it's worth. But actually, no, it always goes beyond the services. And can they really understand that and make that connection for themselves, then they can really know, okay, this is the true value. And that's how they can begin to feel confident that what they have to offer matters to people. That's the second piece. And then the third piece is we have to teach them how to develop, and I mean, develop a self care system. I mean, like system, meaning like there is no way around it. It becomes your non-negotiables. It becomes the way you live your life and becomes your lifestyle to make sure that you're showing up, in the best possible way to be at peak performance. And then last but not least, we handle the money piece, meaning truly get you to heal your relationship with money, discovering what money personalities you have, why you behave the way you behave really depends on your history with when it comes to money and how you were raised with money, excavating what the limiting beliefs you have around money. And then from there, we really start transforming. Okay, you know what you know. This is who you are. This is how you operate most of the time. Now, really ensuring that what we call the magician or the warrior personalities when it comes to money are always in the driver's seat. So that way you're always making the right decisions when it comes to investing in your business. And then secondly, really believing in yourself ultimately that you can earn, that you can save, that you can know how to spend. And then last but not least, how to share your money.
Oh, wow. Okay, I've got so many questions. Like
Yeah.
so many questions. And that was all great. And I'm going to go back to what you shared about there's a different, and I hope I say this correctly, but you had talked about there's your worth and there's a difference between what you charge and what it's worth. It goes beyond that. Can you explain that a little bit more? Like, how does it go beyond that?
Yeah, I get this question all the time, and it's so lovely because when I first started working as a coach, I really thought, especially business coaching, is very tangible, right? Like,
Mhm.
okay, this is the website you go on to get your LLC.
Yep.
This is what you do to apply for a bank account. This is, these are the tools that you get. So it's like I feel like it stops at like just that knowledge.
Yeah.
But what I realized was what I was teaching my client, for example, to be organized, right? We would really overlook being organized is like, okay, you should know that. No, just because we know that being organized is helpful for our life and business does not mean that we understand how to do it. What does
Yeah.
that look like? And what does that mean? Because once I teach someone how to be organized, you can take that off forward and it's life, like for the lifetime of you being an organized person,
Yeah.
right? And so another practical example, I started working with Melissa. She is a photographer. So when she first started working with me, she only understands that, oh, I'm only providing my clients the headshots. These are the photographs. But what she wasn't able to connect, especially when she was getting all of the feedback from her clients, the one piece is priceless, is that these women were telling her, Melissa, you make me feel so confident in that I am the CEO of my business. When I look at my photos, that's how I feel.
Oh, wow. I get
Imagine
that. I get
that,
that. Yeah.
right? Like imagine that, like it's not just the photos. Like this is the headshot that you can use every time someone asks you for a picture.
Right.
No, it's how she feels about herself when she looks at her pictures,
Yes.
that she is capable, that she is confident. And when she was able to make that connection, I was able to pull that out for her, she realized, oh my gosh, yes. And the confidence that she feels now only compounds over time as she continues to work on her business.
Right.
Right. And she was able to increase her rates. Like she started with 1,500. By the time we're still working together, it's been years now, but it was from 1,500 to $5,500 a package without a blink of an eye. And because she understands that when she can get someone to understand that they have a powerful brand and what they have to offer as a service is not just a service, actually is a movement,
Mm.
for women in general, and really empowering them to do what they want to do in their life and business. That's powerful. That's priceless. That's beyond the $5,500. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But I know because I work with a lot of women clients and I have felt this myself is that when you think about raising your prices, there's this fear that happens. What if I lose clients? What if nobody will pay for this? And I'm sure that you've heard these objections too when you're working with people as far as that hesitation to raise their prices. So if somebody is listening and they've been on the fence about raising their prices, they're listening to you and they're like, yes, I do provide this. I do this. It does go beyond just the pictures or whatever their product or service is. What advice would you give them about feeling that confidence to raise that price?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I want to remind all the women who are listening right now, you are so much more skillful than you can ever imagine. Okay. First and foremost, if you are a mom, give yourself some kudos. Okay. We know how to do so many things that is beneficial and transferable into our business as a mom. Okay. First and foremost, if you are a woman, you're that much more intuitive, and that is something that is gifted, like from God, if you're spiritual and things like that. It's just we're that much more compassionate when it comes to not pretending, but really putting ourselves in someone's shoes and really being empathetic and things like that. That connection is also priceless. Being able to allow someone to see that you believe in them is priceless, right? And
Mm,
not to mention that I have a rule. I teach my clients this all the time, that they have to raise their rates every 6 to 8 clients. Here's why.
okay.
Because guess what? You have that much more experience on a practical level, right?
Yeah.
Remember when you first started out and now 6 clients, 8 clients later, you have that much more experience. So why wouldn't you be able to create more results for people? Why wouldn't that be valued so much more than when you first started out 6 clients ago? Just like a really simple way of really comparing your expertise, right?
Yes.
And then so why wouldn't you be charging for what you believe that is worth, or even more so, just because the market dictates it a certain way, things like that? When I first launched my business, I actually was told to charge a certain amount just because I was new. I refused to, because I realized, wait, yes, I am new as a coach, but I had businesses in the past.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that count, for the value of what I can say in terms of wisdom and things that I can be sharing with my clients?
Mhm.
Absolutely. So I had to dig really deep and say, okay, then how much would I charge? And honestly, that's how I started. I charged it 5 times more, 5x what I was told to charge.
Oh my gosh.
And I signed my very first 3 clients in 2 weeks.
Wow, that's
And
awesome.
get this, I launched my business in Columbus, Ohio,
Oh my gosh,
and
you're kidding. I'm
yes,
from Ohio originally.
no
I
way. Oh
love
my
it,
gosh, I
yeah.
love it. And this is back 10 years ago. The cost of living, I knew this because I just moved to the area. I
Yeah,
knew that usually the average range of what people normally paid, for their rent every month. I was paying $1,300 for, the luxury apartment that I was living in. And
yeah,
I was asking people to pay almost half of what they normally would pay for rent for my consulting fee.
yeah,
But if I was able to charge that in Columbus, Ohio, and 5 times what I was told to charge, what does that say? Is it because I really truly believe that my experience is worth that much more? Right? So
yeah,
it really starts with us really believing in ourselves, believing in that we can really help people, and the time that you're saving them to doing all of the research. Knowledge is knowledge. Knowledge is free these days. It's easy.
yeah.
You go in google.com or you go in YouTube channel, right?
Yep,
And you get what you get, but you don't get the wisdom
yes,
that came with the experience. And that's what I'm really honing in with my women, especially women who are not undercharging. I'm like, why do you think that you can undercharge? You're doing yourself a disservice, and you're doing them a disservice, because if you're not proud about what you're charging, you're not going to show up for it. You're not going to show up for it.
you're
You can't put the money where your mouth is,
right.
right? And you're gonna slack off. That's just psychology.
So true. It's
It's
so true.
psychology.
I'm thinking of there was a time when I undercharged for a service. And every time there was an email that came through or something that I had to do with it because I knew I undercharged, it was just like, gosh, I can't wait till this is over with. Like it was
Right?
this resentment, that this
Yes.
negative feeling that came because I knew I undercharged. So
Yes.
I get that. I love everything you just shared there. And I love the 6 to 8 new clients, then
You raise your rates.
increase your
Like, you just
pricing.
have
That
to
makes so much
force
sense.
yourself
And
to, even if it's increment,
yes,
right? Like, I have a thing where they have to really raise it in between like 20% at least up to
yeah,
whatever. But that's a practice of really up leveling, right? Your level of belief in yourself, and really understanding that what you work for, and what you're doing with your
yeah.
client is worth the value.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So people might be listening, right? Women entrepreneurs, and it the thought of making 6 figures might seem like a really big number, right? So, what are some of the biggest misconceptions that people have about achieving that 6 figure success? And how
Well,
can they overcome it if they're thinking this is too big for me?
yes. Excuse me.
Mhm.
So I can tell you from my experience that for the first 6 figures is all mindset. You just said it. It's just because we don't believe that we could do it.
Mhm.
Because it's like this pie in the sky,
Yeah.
like situation. And it's not. And because most people in the corporate space and or conventionally, right, have to work for years before they hit 6 figures.
Mhm.
So that becomes our belief,
Right. It does. You're
right?
so true. You're so right.
It becomes your belief. It's like, oh, my such and such. Even just with my husband too, it did really take him like 7 years before he hit his first 6 figures in
Yeah.
a corporate job. He does really well now, but
Yeah.
it's years, right? Like,
Right.
since I hit my first 6 figure in like 18 months working part time.
Yeah, I remember when
So,
I hit 6 figures first, and I really wasn't paying that much attention that year to my numbers. I wasn't really looking at anything. And then I did look, and I was like, how'd that happen? Like, I really didn't even, I wasn't thinking, I was just like, just keep going, kind of like I wasn't thinking about the dollar amount. And I was so surprised when I saw it because I didn't realize that it had happened.
right? So that's the proof right there to let you know that it is because our mindset around it has to be hard. Money
Yeah.
has to be hard to make. And that's why we have the fourth pillar in our program, from birth to wealth, is we have to heal our relationship with money. like
Mm.
how we think about money, how money can be made, all of the things, and that we should only charge because the market says so. No, so I was told to charge 5 times less than what I wanted to charge.
Right.
And I debunked my own belief of like, wait, is it really real? Like the first time I held and the person, one of the clients,
Yeah.
paid in full for the 12 months. I was holding the check and I was like, is this real?
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about with that feeling, because I remember the first big check I got, and I did the mobile deposit, thank God, because I wanted to keep the check. As like, I was like, I can't believe this happened. But it does happen. It's once it happens, then you realize like, oh,
Yes.
like it is possible, right? It's not that big scary mountain that you think you're facing. It can happen, and it's happening to thousands and thousands of people all the time. Like 100,000 seems so big and scary to so many, but it's really not that big and scary anymore, in my
Yes.
opinion.
And
It shouldn't be, right?
yes, absolutely. And honestly, sometimes when you're looking at the overarching goal, it does sound a lot, right?
Yeah,
What I really help with my clients to do is break it down and reverse engineer it. Okay, take
yeah,
$100,000 divided by 12. What does that mean?
yeah.
$8,333.33. Like I teach this so much, I know the exact number.
Yeah,
Okay, $8,333.33. How many packages is that? How many clients is that?
right,
Right? Charge
right.
5,000. Guess what? That's like barely 2 clients. If
Yes.
you charge 2,500,
Yep,
right? Like that's like 4 or 5, 4 clients. So
yep,
we get to really break it down. Then we back it up with the numbers of, okay, what does that mean? Okay, where do I start? Okay, if it's 4 sales per month, okay, how many sales, that we reverse engineer this whole thing? How many sales calls or how many relationships you need so that way you can close 4 clients?
right.
Okay. Well, not everybody is going to be interested. Okay, so what's the percentage? Like business is math.
It's a numbers game, yes.
All it's all numbers, and it's
Yeah,
being able to break it down and and ask yourself, okay, what do I need to do? What
right,
do I need to do? And and I'm telling you, KPIs, which is key performance indicators, those do not change. You know what I mean? Like if once you know your numbers at the beginning, that's what you're going to continue doing. And when you scale and when you grow, you just add more to it.
yeah.
That's that.
I love it.
And but what's really going to be really fun is because if you really promise me, make a habit of charging more for every 6 to 8 clients, you have something to look forward to. You're like, okay, 2 more and I can raise my rates.
Right, it
2 more and I
becomes
can
a
give
game. It's a
myself a
game.
raise. So then you're like, that means I can basically potentially, if I sign 6 to 8 clients per month, I can give myself a raise every single month.
Yes, I'm gonna start that. I am gonna start doing that. I love that because it does make it fun.
Yes, it doesn't make it fun. It's like a challenge and it's like
Yes,
a reward, for yourself too. And
yes,
why wouldn't you charge more, right? Wouldn't you agree you have that? If after you have signed 6 more clients, if you worked with 6 more clients, wouldn't you have that much more experience than before the 6 clients?
yes.
Yes,
Absolutely.
so much
Absolutely, you
more.
would. So much more. Yeah. So, DeDee, you have a book called The Overcomer. And, well, I'm gonna let you share. Tell me a little bit about this book.
Okay, so I just channel my energy positively. I wrote the book during the pandemic just because everything kind of closed down and shut down, and I said, what am I going to be doing? A lot of what I was doing is speaking, meeting people in person, networking, and so I just channel basically my energy into writing a book. My intention honestly was just really sharing my own personal stories of how I overcome my own challenges, right? Even from the idea of teaching myself how to ride a bike at 9 years old, and just really showing people that no matter what you're going through, it's all temporary,
Mm.
right? And that you are really made and designed to overcome anything and everything that you ever have to go through in your life.
Wow. And
So
we all can use something like that because we all go through tough times, and it's hard to get out of it, and you have to, in my opinion, life is hard. Social media and everything makes everything so much harder because things are in our face, and we need the tools to be able to overcome all the head trash that happens.
Oh man. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so yeah, so it's like it's my own personal stories about how I overcome fear to achieve my goals. Mostly all business related.
Right.
How I launched my, first business on my own with a restaurant. I knew nothing about restaurant. You name it. Like I just built the
The
whole thing
hardest
from
industry,
scratch.
in my opinion, in the world.
Yes, the
You're like, well,
hardest.
yeah, let's do this.
I know, and and that's what I really meant it. I said I made all the mistakes, so you don't have to.
Yeah.
With other things that I'm teaching right now is based on my basically experience learning the hard way,
Yeah.
and don't do it the hard way. Do it the smart way. Like if you have anyone that is doing exactly what you want to do, talk to them, ask questions, get support. But truly, it's really over managing your fear, overcoming your fear, so that way you can achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve in your life and business.
Wonderful. Well, if you are listening right now and you want DeDee's book or you want to work with DeDee and scale your business, all of her links, you can reach her. Just scroll down below and click on the link and connect with DeDee. DeDee, thank you so much for being here. This was such a great conversation. I've got takeaways that I know I'm going to implement in my business. So thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And please pass on the word. If you can charge more or ask for a raise or anything you can to push that next level of belief in yourself, do it. Do it. You owe it to yourself.
That is the perfect way to end this podcast today. So thank you so much. And thanks everybody for listening. We will see you next time.